Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. How are you? Okay, semua? All right. Okay, before we start, do you have any question about the problem that I gave you last time? I give you problem 1 and 2. Any question? Any problem with that problem? Okay. All right. Okay, can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Because dia lain pula. All right. Any question with the problem here? Question problem 1 and 2. Okay. All right. So what I will do, I will, this will be our first group homework. Now I just want you to submit question number 1. So homework 1. Okay. So there will be problem 1. Number 3. So this is due on when? Today is Monday, 30th. I will give you a few more days. So this is due on Sunday. Right? So this is due on Sunday. So due Sunday.
Nombor 8 Cepung Mutiara 6.
3rd of April.
Di Kawasan. Pergi check defect dia.
Okay, 3rd of April by 5 p.m. Okay, so make sure you submit to me before 5. All right. So that will be our homework number 1. Now that's the group homework, and I will also check on the data homework. Now, is there any problem with the data homework? Data homework. Everybody got your years. You got the variables. Okay. All right. So if you have any problem, let me know. Either you WhatsApp or you just ask in class. All right. All right. Now we have finished chapter number 3. So that externality chapter is done. So those things I don't cover in class. All right. Those things I don't cover in class. That means you don't have to. You are not accountable. We only. You are only accountable for the test exam, the things that I discuss. And of course, if I don't discuss, I will inform you. What are the things. Okay, all right. So we move on to chapter number 3. No, I'm sorry, chapter number 4. Okay, any problem? I heard somebody was talking. Any problem? If you have a problem, let me know. Okay, all right. So now chapter 4, this is about what? This is about public good. So first thing that we need to know, what is the public good? So chapter 4, public good. So here, what we are going to do, we're going to discuss what is the public good, all right? And then who produces? Who produce and provide the public good? And then we're going to look at the government. The government's role in producing and providing. And then we're going to, these are basically what we're going to look at. Okay, and that will be chapter number 4. Okay, first, what is a public good? Okay, what is a public good? Now, we already discussed, last week or the week before, some examples of public good. Very good example is what? Road. Okay. Road. For example, the road connecting Gombak and Kuala Lumpur. You see, if you look at the road from UIA, going to Kuala Lumpur city, it's what? It's a public good. Okay. Now, what make it a public good? Why it's a public good? What make it a public good? As opposed to a private good in which, ice cream, if you buy, that's a private good. So what is the difference between the two types of goods? And that's the public good versus what? Ice cream. Now, ice cream is a private good. Road is an example of a public good. So what is the difference in the two goods? Intuitively, okay, before we go into the concept, we just want to have some intuition. Okay, what is the difference between the road and the ice cream?
Everybody can use it without need to pay.
Road is something that you see everybody can use it. Okay, everybody can use it. And no payment. Okay, there is no payment. All right. Now, if you look at ice cream, what is the difference? It's a private good. Okay, so how is it different than the road? So you just use what you say here to contrast. Okay, what is ice cream then? Contrast with what you say here, basically based on the same explanation. So you just contrast it. So what about ice cream?
We need to pay.
You need to pay. Okay, ice cream, you have to pay. All right, you have to pay the price. Okay. On the other hand, public good, there is no price. Okay, so there is no means, there is no price, there is no market. There is no market for road, and here you have to pay means there is a market for ice cream, and everybody use it. So the contrast of everybody use it, what is it? Not everybody can use. It's only used for whom? The person who make the payment, okay, is the one who's going to consume it. Okay, so if you pay, then what? Then you consume. You have the right to consume. That means nobody else can consume. So that is basically a private good versus a public good. All right. So in terms of proper characteristics, so our definition here is based on characteristics of public good, based on what we discussed here. Number one, these are the goods that have the following properties. Public goods are the goods with the following properties or the following characteristics. And there are two, okay? There are two characteristics. What are they? Number one, it's non-exclusion. Okay, non-exclusion. That means you cannot exclude anybody from using it. Okay, so that is exclusion. That means everybody use it. So it's a characteristic of non-exclusion. So in other words, if you consume it, you cannot what? I cannot prevent, or you cannot stop, all right, others from, others means more than one people, from consuming the same good. So in other words, everybody can use it, all right? So if you consume the good, you cannot prevent, or that is very costly. Sometimes you get it, it's very, very costly, to prevent others from consuming the same good. Now, in the public good and externality approach, when we say consume, all right, what we mean is consuming the service. You don't consume like you are consuming ice cream, okay? So here we are consuming the services of the road. So we just say consume, all right? So if you consume the road, what does it mean? It means that we are enjoying the service from the road. In other words, you travel from Gombak to Kuala Lumpur to back to Gombak. So that's what we mean by consume. And then if you consume the road, we cannot prevent other people from consuming the same good. Okay, so same good here, the same road. Or in other words, if you go back to what we were discussing, everybody can use it. So that is non-exclusion. Okay, that is characteristic number one. Now there is another characteristic. What is it? Number two is non-rivalry. Now, what is non-rivalry? The good is non-rival. All right. So number two, non-rivalry. So non-rival means if I consume, if you consume, I use you. So you means everybody lah. If you consume the good, okay, the public good, other people will consume the same amount. Others will also, or you can say also can also, or will also consume the same amount of the good. Okay, the same quantity or same amount of quantity of the good. If you consume the good, if you consume the good, others will also consume, or others can also consume the same amount of quantity of the good. So here should be lah. I think we should be if you consume a good, all right, and then others will also consume the same quantity or the amount of good. So that is non-rival. If you contrast it or you look at ice cream tadi tu, if you consume the ice cream, you buy the ice cream, okay, and of course it's yours. Now, if you consume the ice cream, can anybody else consume the same amount? No, it's finished, all right? So that is a private good, it's rival. If I consume the ice cream, you cannot consume the ice cream the same amount, all right? On the other hand, if it's the good, public good, I consume the good, you also can consume the same amount of the good. Example, the road again. If I consume the road, that means I travel from Gombak to Kuala Lumpur. You can also travel from Gombak to Kuala Lumpur on the same quantity of the road. Okay, all right. So that is what we mean non-rival. There'll be non-rivalry. So if a good satisfies these two conditions, we call it pure private good. No, private good, pure public good. Because there are so many things in the world, all right? They don't satisfy both. They only satisfy one. So we call those partial public good. Partial public good, they satisfy either one or two. Okay. Some goods, they are non-rival, but you can exclude others from using it. Some goods, they are non-rival, and you can non-rival, but you can exclude. That's what I said. Some goods are non-excludable, but It can be rival. So we call this goods partial public good. They satisfy only one condition one or condition number two. All right. So these are the public good. Now, one very popular example in textbook, because if you look at many of the goods, public good now, due to some technological change, previously it is a pure public good, but now it becomes only partial public good. So pure public good, one good example in the book, they will say national defense. National defense is the defense of the country. That means if it's non-excludable, it's non-rival. If the defense is for you, the same defense is available for everybody in the country. All right, and everybody will get the same amount of defense. So it's non-rival. So one very common example used in the textbook, national defense, or maybe number two, police. Police security. Security, things like that. So that is, but over time, due to technological improvement, all right, due to technological improvement, some goods, all right, some goods that we say pure public good now become partial public good. For example, road. Okay, road, as we discussed earlier, Gombak, Kuala Lumpur, we can say it's pure public good, all right, because it's non-rival and it's non-excludable. But road can become partial public good. Why? How? How can you make a road becoming a partial public good? You can exclude people. Okay, so now road can become partial public good. Road, you can exclude people. By what? By toll, by paying the price. Okay, so there are many goods, that we can call partial public good. Another example is school. Okay, I'm not talking about education. I'm talking about school, the building. Okay, school, partial public good. Now, what is the characteristics that we can that school may not satisfy? Let's say you look at the school, sekolah Kebangsaan Sungai Pusu, primary school. That school is a public good, but it's not a pure public good. Now, what happened here? What characteristic it does not satisfy? Okay, school. I'm not talking about education. Okay, I'm talking about it's a public good. Now, can we exclude people from going to the school? I mean, those people qualify lah, say the people aged from 7 to 12, all right, that live in Selangor. Can we exclude those people from going to the school?
No.
You cannot. Okay, you cannot. But what about rivalry? Rival. Can the good become a rival? I mean,
No.
It can become rival. It can. Why? Because the school has only a certain size. All right, maybe let's say there are 2 buildings made up of what? Let's say 14 classes. So as more students entering the school, it becomes what? Let's say previously one class you have 20 people. Now you have double the students, now becomes 40. More students, we become more productive. Everybody produces kids, from 4 now becomes 10. Everybody have 10 children. So every class now becomes 60. So what happened here? It's rival, okay? So the good has become what? Rivalry, become rival. So when you talk about rival, it means what? Meaning congested. That good has become congested with more people. So it's still non-excludable, but now it becomes what? It becomes rival. So that is an example. All right? Okay. But now I'm talking about but if you want to reduce the rivalry, what can we do? Due to the technology that you have, what can you do in order to reduce the rivalry character of the group?
Make another school.
That's a good idea. Make another school. Suppose we cannot make another school. That is the only school that we have. So what can we do in order to reduce the rivalry of the group? You don't shift the demand function, we make use of the same demand function. You are right, make another school. But before you make another school, because it takes 10 years, what can we do? What can we do? We are economists, You are economists. So what can you do? You give a policy related to what you learn in economics. What can we do in order to reduce the congestion?
Stop taking in students.
You stop taking in students. That is not a good policy, because you will take away freedom of others. Okay, that can be, but that is not too economic. What can we do?
Provide the same facilities to the student.
No, not that. Just like the road. What do we do to the road just now? What do we do to the road? We just toll. Okay. So similarly for the school, in order to reduce congestion, what do? We just toll. You just price. Okay. You make a price to the school. If you want to send your kid to school, you have to pay what? You have to pay 1,000 ringgit a year. That can reduce the congestion. So in economics, all right, in economics, we are very simple. I mean, our policy is giving choices. We don't make a rule, okay? We don't make a rule, nobody come in, okay? We don't make a rule, no entry. If there is a problem with something, normally you don't stop that thing. What do? We give option, okay? We let people make choice. So one way for people to make choice is what? To charge price. Okay, so you charge a price. So there are many things, public good, that you see now, where you charge price. So those are partial public goods. Either it is non-excludable or it is non-rival. What do? We just charge price. All right. This is one example. Or another example. Okay, we come back to that one later on. Okay, so that is public good and the definition of public good. So we will come back to the partial public goods, all right, later on. But now we are going to just focus on the pure public good. That means the goods that satisfy both number one and number two. So we're going to look at the efficient, all right, the efficient equilibrium or the efficient equilibrium, the efficient quantity and the price of public good. Just like what we'll do private good. So here, we start with looking at a model basically for a market of public good. So the first model we're going to look at is the efficient or equilibrium provision or provision. Provision means supply. Provision of public good. So we're going to look at basically supply demand model. So nothing new, okay? Supply demand model. We're going to look at how the equilibrium is achieved. So in other words, you look at QE and we look at PE. And of course, there is a difference in terms of that equilibrium with the private goods. Okay, so let us do that. First, supply. Now, supply function for a private good or public good, there is no difference. So supply function is just the marginal cost because you want to supply the public good. You have to consider the cost of production, things like that. So it's just like marginal cost of a private good. So that one, no difference. Okay, same as private goods. In other words, we consider the variable cost, the fixed cost, and you got the marginal cost. So that is the supply. Now, in terms of demand, all right, the demand, there is a difference. So in terms of demand, you will have the difference. Now, what is different? Different demand will come from the characteristics of the public good. If I consume the same amount, somebody else will consume the same amount as well. All right. So that is the difference in terms of the demand function. So how do you get the demand function of a public good? Okay, this is how we get it. So it based on what? Based on non-rivalry or non-exclusion. That means everybody consume. Okay, everybody consume the same amount. Consume the same quantity. Okay, everybody consume the same quantity. All right. Now, if you look at the demand function for a private good, okay, I'll come back to demand, but we relate to public good. Now, demand function of public goods. If you look at demand function, what does it tell you? Demand function. Demand function is downward sloping like that. Now, each point of the demand function, what does it tell you?
The more the quantity, the lower the price.
The more the quantity, the lower the price. All right. Now, give me how do you describe a particular point? Let's say that point. It's what? It's the price. It's the what do you call it? It's the quantity you are consuming at what? At a given price. Okay, so here, suppose this price is 10. And then I look at another consumer. Okay, and that is the demand function here. And you look at the price here 10. And that quantity is say 5. This guy here, quantity is 8. So that demand function tell you what? Tell you at each price, how much you are willing to consume. Okay, at each price you are willing to consume. So if you look at these two people, demand function for the price equal to 10, how much are you willing to buy? Say this is A, that is B. For the same price 10, how much are you willing to buy A? 8. What about B? He is willing to buy only 5. All right.
5.
So that is a public good. Everybody pay the same price. You consume different quantity. For example, ice cream. The price of ice cream, say 2 ringgit. You know, that's the price everybody pay. But how much you consume? That's with demand and or your demand function. Some people can consume 5, some people consume what? 10, or some people can go 0 because they don't have money. All right. So for a private good, for the same price, okay, for the same price, we consume different quantities. Got it? So that is private good. Now, what about the public good? I just write half of the sentence. So can you finish that sentence? Everybody consume the same quantity. What about the price? So for you look at the comparison, right? For private good, we pay same price, but different people consume different quantities. So that is basically the demand for private good. That means how much you are willing to buy at a given price. Okay, how much you're willing to consume at a given price. So everybody pay the same price, consume different quantities. Okay, now for a public good, it's the other way around. Everybody consume the same quantity. So, apa benda kat sini? What about the price? They are willing to pay different price. Okay, so for a public good, we consume the same quantity, but you're willing to pay different, okay, prices for that quantity. Different. Do you understand? Do you understand that? Maybe we have to modify a little bit that statement. Pay different prices for okay. I hope you can see this for those quantities. Everybody consume the same quantity, but you can but willing to pay with different prices for those quantities. Paham tak paham? Does it make sense? I think boleh tak? Everybody consume the same quantity, but the willingness to pay will be different for different quantities, for those quantities. Or be different for those quantities, or maybe different for different quantities. For different quantities. Now, do you get the idea? So it's the opposite of demand for private goods. Private good, you pay the same price, everybody, but willing to purchase different quantities. On the other hand, public good, we consume the same quantity, willing to pay different prices. Okay, so that is the difference. So if you look at public good, I will draw a diagram. I don't want to draw a diagram. We look at a different diagram for the public good. Now, are you done? Are you done with this thing here, the demand function? Siap belum?
Yes.
Okay, good. So if you have not done, I will wait. All right. I want you to get the concept. Okay. All right. So now we look at the demand function. So we draw the demand function just like what we did. We looked at two people, A and B, same people. So that is A, B. So you have the price, the quantities. And that is the demand function for A. That's the demand function for B. Now, same quantity. So let's say you start with Q equal to 2. And here Q equal to 2. Same quantities. Now, the difference will be the willingness to pay will be different. So willingness to pay here, say 20. This guy, willingness to pay is 10. All right. So that is the difference. And you look at another quantity, say here 7. Willingness to pay, say 12. This guy here, 7, willingness to pay. All right. So these are what? These are the demand function for public good. The or you can say the price willing to pay for each quantity will be different. So the price willing to pay for each quantity. So that is the individual demand function. It shows what? It shows the price we're willing to pay for each quantity of the public good. So for example, for A, at the price of, at the quantity of 2, I'm willing to pay 20. Price of 7, I'm willing to pay 12. And for Bala, okay, B, this one, alias A. This one, Bala, for quantity equal to 2, he's willing to pay 10. Quantity 7, he's willing to pay 4. So that is for each individual. All right, for each individual and each household. So that is the demand function. Okay, any question? So that price willing to pay, okay, the price we're willing to pay on the demand function, price willing to pay. What do you call it? Price willing to pay. Price willing to pay. Say PI, all right, for any QI. So we can generalize, say this is PI, that is QI. PI for any QI is equal to what? Is equal to the marginal benefit of that quantity QI. So marginal benefit is the price willing to pay. That means if I consume 2 units, marginal benefit that I get is what? Is 20. Now, if I consume higher, 7, the additional benefit that I get is how much? Now it's lower, because the higher the quantity, the marginal benefit will be lower. Now my additional benefit is only 12. All right? So the price willing to pay is the marginal benefit. So I think we talked about that earlier on. The demand function or the price is, or the demand function is what? Is the marginal benefit function. Okay, all right. So that is QI. Okay. So for each individual household, I'm sorry. Right, any question? Okay, good. So that is the demand function for any QI. All right. So now what we're going to do, since we are going to get the market demand, I need to add more people. Okay, so more people. So this is the individual or the household. So that is the individual market demand. So what you want to do next is that we want to get the market demand function. Okay, now how do I get the market demand function? Okay, so that is what we do now. We want to come up with the market demand function. Okay. So number 2, how do I get the market demand function? So here, from the individual market demand function, at each Q, it's the price I'm willing to pay. All right, the different price I'm willing to pay. So for example, at Q equal to 2, A willing to pay 12, and at the quantity equal to 2, B is willing to pay what? To pay 4. So how do I get the market demand function? So to get the market demand function, we have to what? You have to sum the prices willing to pay, all right, at each Q. Okay, at each Q. For what? For all the household or the individual. So you have to add up. Okay, you have to add up the prices willing to pay at each Q for all the individuals. All right, so that's how we get the market demand function. So this is how we do it. You have 2 people, all right? You have 2 people, A and B. So for each Q, you add up the prices. Okay, so this is the price. You add up the price. For example, Q equal to, let us do it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I jump, from 2 to 7. So the 2 that I have, all right, prices willing to pay. So what does it mean? It means that I have to add P. Ini yang pening sikit, jangan pening tau. This is QI. QI tadi kan? QI. So PI J. So QI here, PIJ. So the prices is equal to the sum of PIJ. So that is what is one? That is the price I of J. J is the individual. A plus PIB. So J though is the individual. Okay, or the house. So here J is equal to A and B. All right, and I is the different quantities. Okay, I is the different quantities from what 1 up to whatever, 7, 10, or you can generalize up to 10. All right. So I is the quantity, and J is the individual. Okay. So when Q equal to 2, this is what I have. When Q equal to 2, that means you want to add up P at 2 for A plus P at 2 for whom? For B. What is it equal to? You look at the price they are willing to pay, and they are different. How much was that? 20 plus 10. So 20 plus 10, that is equal to what? 30. Okay, so that's how we get the market demand. And then you add up, boom, 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 7. Okay, 7 I have there. What is the sum of the prices? 12 and 4. So 12 and 4, so here P7 of A plus P7 of B, that is equal to 12 plus 4. So that is 16. All right. Of course, kita hentam je lah 3, 4, 5 tu berapa. Okay. So for example, I do another quantity, say here 5. Okay. So 5, say berapa ni? 5,
6.
8 lah.
Boleh.
6 boleh lah, 7. 7 cantik, 7. 5 sini, 5 sini, 16. So 16 plus 7. So 5 sini, 16 plus 7, that is 25. Okay, so that is the total willingness to pay, what we call just P. Okay, the price to pay, the market price willing to pay for every quantity. So it's not difficult. You just add the different prices for everybody. Okay, you just add the different prices for everybody. If there are people, 3 people, then you add the prices of the prices willing to pay for the 3 people. Okay, so you got these numbers, you come up with the market demand function. Okay, all right. Now, for these quantities, I want you to sketch the graph. Just sketch. Okay, roughly, you start with the Q equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 7. Then you put in the market price for each of these people. 30, 25, 16. So what do you get for the market demand function? Draw, or you sketch. Okay, don't draw. So that means what you will get if you sketch over here, you know, you get the market demand function. So this is the demand function. So now you get the market demand. All right. So that's how you get the market demand function for a public good. Now, for a private good, it's the other way around. Given the same price, people demand different quantities. So you add quantities at each price. Okay. For public good, you add the different prices at each quantity. Okay. All right. So in short, you get the marginal social benefit or the market demand function. Call it D. Okay, here D is the market demand function. What is it equal to? It's just equal to the sum of the marginal benefit of different consumers. J from 1 up to J, A, B lah, okay, up to M. So one way to look at it, we don't use A, B, we can use what? Individual 1, individual 2, up to M. All right, so that is the market demand function. You just add the individual demand function, which is equal to the sum of the individual demand function, dj, from j equal to 1 up to m. So you just add the individual demand function. Okay, so that is the concept. Now, how you add? This is how you add. All right. So you get, okay, if I can draw it here, okay, I draw it on another graph. Okay, I have the market demand. Market demand and supply, because afterwards I will put the supply. Q. So demand function. Draw, we have 2. 2, 30. 2 is 30 somewhere here.
30.
Lepas tu 5 apa 5? 2, 4,
23.
8, 5, 23. 23 somewhere here. Right? And then 7, apa tadi?
16.
16 somewhere there. So from the points that I got, that's the demand function. So that is the market demand function, which is equal to the sum of the marginal benefit for everyone. Okay? Or in short, you don't have to put the J, just sum marginal benefit. Because we know how do you get it? You just add everyone's individual, regardless of the numbers. What we did was 2, because that is the simplest. If there are 3 or 7, you just do the addition by the same. Okay? All right. Any question? So how do you add? Okay, make sure you know how to add. Okay, you add different prices at each quantity. Okay, all right. So now we get the demand function. That is the market demand function. So now we want to look at the market. So given the supply function, which is the marginal cost, we look something like that. Okay, so that is our supply. So this is the market for a public. All right. Okay, now come the difference. Okay, number one, the difference was what? Was how we get the market demand. Okay. What we want to do next is how do you get the equilibrium? Now, to get the equilibrium, it's very easy. How do you get the equilibrium? Just demand equal to supply. All right, demand equal to supply. In other words, the sum of the marginal benefit equal to the marginal cost. So you get equilibrium, E. You call it E. All right. And then what is Q? Q equal to QE. P equal to PE. Okay. So Q equal to QE. I think what you do, you put 7 here. Yeah. No, it's 7. All right. So that is our QE. And that is PE. So for the public good, all right, the price, okay, the market price, okay, the market price is PE. And the market quantity or the equilibrium quantity, what is equal to is QE. Okay. Now for our example, it's just nice that I got 7. So when the quantity is 7, what is the market price? We got it 16. So nanti terdapat. So 16. So example 16, and the quantity is 7. So you can add over there. Okay. Example that we have, what? PE equal to 16, QE equal to 7. Okay. So that is the market for public goods. All right. Now that's the market. It's not the end of the story yet. Okay. It's not the end of the story yet. So now, how do you pay that 16? Okay. So how do you pay that PE? Okay. Now, if you look at the concept here, we consume the same quantity. So the equilibrium quantity is 7, but you are willing to pay different prices. And the sum of the prices that you get is 16. So who paid that 16? That 16 or PE is on the market demand. Now, who paid that 16? And there are two people in our example. There are two people, A and B. So who pay that 16? A or B?
Both.
Both are going to pay. Okay, both are going to pay. Now, how much everybody pay? Do they divide equally or what? Everybody, all right, will pay what? Will pay their willingness to pay. Okay, everybody will pay their marginal benefit at that equilibrium quantity. Okay, so you have the equilibrium quantity, which is QE, and this example is 7. So in terms of payment, all right, in terms of payment, this is what you call the sharing. Okay, you share. Now, how do you share? You don't divide equally. Okay, you pay what? Pay according to the marginal benefit to each person. Okay, to each person's marginal benefit at what? At the equilibrium quantity. So that works. Everybody will pay. Okay, everybody, everyone. Everyone pays his or her willingness to pay. Maknanya macam ni lah, right? I'm just rephrase the first statement. Willingness to pay at what? At the equilibrium quantity. Okay. So what you need to do here is you look back into the individual demand function, and at that equilibrium price, what are their willingness to pay for each people? Okay, what are the marginal benefits for each individual or household? So in this example, you have two people. So what you do is you just add their demand function. So demand function of A will be that one. Demand function of B will be that one. So I have MBA for person A, MBB for person B, or you can use B. All right. So how much are we paying for everyone? At 7, B is willing to pay what? B is willing to pay. Berapa tadi? 7 berapa? B. Cuba tengok.
4.
4. Saya dah. Okay. 4. What about A?
12.
12. Okay. So B will pay 12, and I'm sorry, B will pay 4. A pay 12. Sum total 16. So 12 plus 4 plus 12, 16. So these are the prices everybody pay. A pay 12, B pay 4. All right. So that's what we mean by everyone pays his or her willingness to pay or marginal benefit at the equilibrium price. So example, at equilibrium equal to 7, right? You can say that PA, the price A willing to pay is 14, 12. 12. The price B willing to pay is 4. So you got what? 16. So PA plus PB equal to 16. Equal to 12 plus 4 equal to 16 equal to PE. Okay, so that's how we get. Everybody pay their own willingness to pay. Okay, all right. Now before we conclude for this model, is there any question, anything, any comment? I want to make sure you understand the basic concept. Any
So,
question?
sir,
Yeah.
difference between public good and private good. Private good at quantity at each price.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Public good. Public good. How do you
Private.
add? Oh no, public good. How do you add?
Public at price at each quantity.
You add different prices at each quantity. Why? Because by definition, public good, everybody consume what? Everybody consume the same amount. Okay. So in order to understand this, we have to understand the basic characteristic of a public good. Okay. Non-excludable, non-rival means everybody consume the same quantity. So that is the basic difference when you get the demand function. Okay. All right. Good. Any other comment? Any other question? No. If you have anything, don't be shy. You know, we want to discuss. All right. The reason we discuss is that you want to understand better. The better we understand, the better we are. Okay. All right. So I give this example here. Two people. Now the same principle will hold. Same principle will hold. Regardless of what? Regardless of how many people, the number of M. You know, here I give you two, A and B. All right. You may have what? I can have 10. That means person A, B, we can use now for one, for, you know, for two people, we can use A, B. But if there are 10 people, so sorry, A, B, C, D, E. So for more people, sometimes you can label the individual 1, 2, 3, up to 10. All right? Now, regardless of how many people are there, the principle will hold. You just add different prices of each of these people at the same quantity. Okay. All right. So I'll give you one example. Okay, I give you one example. I want you to come up with the demand function for the market. Ya, saya cari example. Kalau ada, kalau tak ada, saya kena buat sendiri. Dalam buku ni dia pakai 3 orang. I give you 2. So I give you another. I give you example. So I give you a table. All right, I give you a table. Then you add the market. So these are the individuals. Suppose I have 5 individuals or 5 households. All right, or 5 households. I have here the number of the good. Okay, the public good. It can be any good. It can be public good. Public good. Public good. Let's say number of officers. Okay, number of police officers. Say here 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is the marginal benefit or the price of person 1, MB1, person 2, P2, MB, and this is P3, this is P4. Now 1, 2 up to 4 for here, all right, are the individuals. Oh, I hope you will not be confused. This is the quantity. Okay. So what you know what? Because the numbers are not that small, we maintain with our example. We use ABC. You know, I think we make ABC, so that will be different notation than the number of the goods. Okay. But afterwards, you know, when we understand the difference between the individuals and the number of the goods, then it's okay. So here A, B, C, D. So A, B, C, D. So now let's say the marginal benefits are equal to 31, 20, 20, and 50, 41, 25, 16, 25, 15, 10, 5. Ini MB nih, tahu MBC, MB. Here 31, 50, 25, 20, 41. Okay, 41. 36. 22, 13. Cuba back tu. Alright. So these are the demand function of 4 people, A, B, C, D. And then this is a public good. The quantities are 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the police escort, police service, okay, for our community. So public police, you know, police service for our community. Our community, maybe community, wherever you live, you know, people are willing to pay different prices for each quantity of the public good. All right. Okay, now I want you to get the market demand function. Okay, you got it? Now, the principle is what? The principle is you add different prices at each quantity. All right? Okay. You got the demand function? Now, it's okay. You got it wrong, that's fine, you know, because this is a practice. How to get it right. Okay, I want everybody to try. Just try. Okay, are you done or you're not yet? That's it, Blam?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
good. So now I will do it. Okay, we do it together. So when you want to get the market demand, you add what? You add the different prices or different willingness to pay at each quantity. So first, what do I do? At Q equal to 1. Okay. at Q equal to 1, what is the total price? You just add lah, senang lah. Okay, add. So what do you got? And each quantity?
147.
147. Okay, everybody got it? All right. And then you got for this thing here, berapa? You add
118.
118. So you add at each quantity. All right. Okay. Sini berapa?
77.
77. Here?
44.
44. So that will be our market demand function. So from here, all right, from here, you draw the market demand function. All right. Okay. So I want you to do this lah. All right. This is your homework. Not to be graded. Okay. There is no submission. So over the weekend, you don't have to draw nicely. You know, you just sketch roughly the demand function for everyone, and then you get the market demand. So you get the equilibrium. Okay, you get the equilibrium. Equilibrium. M, equilibrium. And then you get, of course, QE. And then you get at QE. All right. What are the prices of everyone? Okay. Okay. So sekarang ni, I want to get the marginal cost. Marginal cost ni tak ada, kita dapat. So marginal cost. Mana ni marginal cost? Sebab di table. So what we can do, marginal cost. Okay. Suppose the marginal cost for the supply is equal to 118. Constant. Okay, it's constant. So the marginal cost is a constant at 118. So what we do here, you have the market demand, all right? You get the equilibrium, the sum of the market demand, or sum of the marginal benefit equal marginal cost, all right? Then you get QE, PE. And after that, you will determine the prices everyone willing to pay for every day, every ABCD. Okay, all right. Now, this model that we just discussed is called the efficient provision of public good. Okay, efficient provision of public good, voluntary. Put the word voluntary. Okay, voluntary provision of a public good. Because everyone pay. Why you say voluntary? Because everybody pay their willingness. Okay, willingness pays their willingness to pay price. Willingness to pay at QE. Okay, everybody willing to pay their marginal benefit at QE. So it's voluntary. You pay according to what you are willing to pay, not more, not less. Okay, so this makes sense. Suppose we are willing to, you are talking about providing police service to your community. So you get a meeting, you call a meeting, say 5 individuals, or, in our example here, there are 4 individuals, say Ahmad, Bala, C, Choi, D, David. So you get together, you talk about what? Talk about, okay, we're going to provide some police service. So they just discuss and they pay what? They pay according to their willingness to pay. That will be based on the demand function. So we call it voluntary. All right, voluntary contribution. So that is voluntary contribution of public good. So here, voluntary, you pay according to this. So in other words, we call it contribution. So for this public good police service, A, Ali, okay, will pay what? Will pay 26 ringgit. B will pay 41 ringgit. C will pay 15. D will pay 36. And you come up with the price of 2, which is the equilibrium, okay, 118. So you pay for two police. And one police costs what? Costs 118. So we go into more detail of this. All right. Everybody contribute according to their what? Their contribution based on the marginal cost. Now, what is the total cost of providing QE? It's just equal to what? Just equal to PE times QE. All right, that would be 118 times 2. So that is the total cost. Okay, so you multiply lah. Okay, now how do you cover that? Will be total contribution. Okay, now how do you calculate contribution? We go by the individual. For A, all right, A will contribute what? Contribution A, we call it contribution. Apa kita panggil A? TC, total cost. Total contribution apa? TC juga. Kita panggil total contribution, total payment. So tingkat air the total payment. Alright, total payment. Total payment. Now, our total payment must be equal to the total cost. So total payment for A, okay, is equal to what? Is equal to the price of A, MBA, times Q, or P, A, QE. All right, which is equal to what? Equal to, tengok balik ya. Saya pernah lupa.
26.
26. 26 times 2. All right, so 26 times 2 equal. So you do this for everybody up to D. Now, yeah, they should be equal. All right, if not, something wrong somewhere. Okay, so total payment must be bigger or equal to total cost. All right, I think in this example should be exactly equal. So that is the total cost, total payment. All right. Okay. 2 more minutes. Okay, 2 more minutes. Now this model, I give you another name for this model. This model has a special name. This model is also called the Lindahl model. Okay, Lindahl model. So the voluntary contribution, we call it Lindahl model. All right. Equilibrium, we call it Lindahl equilibrium. All right. The equilibrium that we have earlier, E, okay. Since it's by voluntary contribution, we call it Lindahl because this is the economists that they come up with this model. We call it under his name. So this is the inventor, it's due to him. And then you got the Lindahl equilibrium, which is the E, okay. And then you have the Lindahl prices. Lindahl prices. Now, Lindahl prices is not the equilibrium price. Okay, Lindahl prices is not the equilibrium price. Lindahl prices is what? is the price everybody willing to pay. Price everybody willing to pay. Everybody's willingness to pay. So it's the price is the each individual or household willingness to pay or marginal benefit. Willingness to pay or marginal benefit at the equilibrium quantity. Okay. So it's not the equilibrium price. It's the price each people willing to pay at the equilibrium quantity. So what are the Lindau prices? The Lindau prices will be the prices near 26. Okay, so I go back to the graph. Okay, Lindau prices would be 26, 41, 15, 36. So these are the Lindau prices. Lindau prices means the price willingness to pay at the equilibrium quantity. Okay, it's not 118. So don't mix up. Okay, it's not 118. It's the prices everyone willing to pay at the equilibrium amount. So these are called the Lindau prices. Okay, and the Lindau equilibrium is the equilibrium lah. But the Lindau prices, it's not the equilibrium price. It's the prices everyone willing to pay. Okay, so here we are looking at what? We just look at a model of a public good where we pay voluntarily, just like the road. Okay, the road from Gombak to Kuala Lumpur. Let's say the road was not there yet. So you want to build a road. You know the quantity is 1. So you can say in terms of mileage, maybe 20 miles. So Q is 20 miles. Now, we get together, the people in Gombak, the people in Kuala Lumpur, I mean people in Gombak lah, Setapak or the area, get together, they will discuss how much are you willing to pay? Okay, how much are you willing to pay? Suppose the cost of the Gombak road is 20 million RM. And people in Gombak, Campo people in Setapak, let's say here you have 50,000 people. In Setapak, there are 100,000 people. So they will get together, discuss what I'm willing to pay for the 20-mile road, Gombak to Kuala Lumpur. So it's voluntary contribution. Okay, voluntary contribution. All right. So by now, you can have the intuition. Okay, you can have the intuition. If the good is 20 million, right, the road, you compare it to the police service, where the price is 118 RM, and you want to do voluntary. So you look at the problem. Okay, look at the problems. Are there problems, or is it okay for the police service as well as the road, for example? Right? All right. So this is by voluntary. So you think about it. You do some reading in the chapter number 4. You will get the idea. I will continue on Monday. Okay. So Monday next week on online class. Okay. Wednesday we will discuss, because when next week is already Ramadan. Okay. So sometimes, for Ramadan, the first week is a little tough. At least for me, I don't know about you. But when it goes to the second week, that week, okay already. You are used to the condition. So probably first week I will do online class on Wednesday. But I will inform you next week. Okay. All right. Anything? Any question? Any comment?
Sir,
Yeah.
when doing the graph, the
Okay.
market demand for public good, is it necessary to put the graph for marginal benefit for each user?
Yeah. You have to do it. You have to do the market demand. Okay. And then the marginal cost that will give you the equilibrium. We need the individual demand to see how much everybody pay. Okay.
Okay.
Sketch lah, tak payahlah draw cantik sangat. You just sketch by the, by the value. So you already know the prices. All right. So from there, you can look how much everybody is paying. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Do on the same graph. Okay. Any other thing? Okay. So if you came in late today, all right, the homework, I informed the class, homework number 1 would be the problem 1, chapter 3. All right. This is due Sunday, 5 p.m. Okay. Now I have already 21 people. I want you to, you can discuss with other groups. But when you write, please write your own. Okay. Write your own. Now, I have only 23 people, about 10 groups. So it's easy to see, very similar work. So if, you discuss and then write your own, all right, make it different from others. So don't just cut and paste, right? Cut and paste. Don't just copy paste. Okay. I want everyone to do the work. All right. Okay. One more thing. Saya lupa nak cakap. That question number 3, that question chapter 3, that question ada banyak parts. Okay. If you look at that question, there are a few parts. So what I want you to do, for convenience, for me, easier for me to grade, you do this. Okay, you do this. You have the problem 1. Then you can call it question 1. So the first part dia kata benda. First part dia kata assuming the proposal in competitive market, what is the market price? So that you put A. Okay, so put A, market price. Market price, market quantity. So that A, dia tak ada tulis tau. Tapi you do it like that. Okay. Now the second part, only quantity tak ada. A, market price. B, how many tons of paper? B itu quantity. And then you put C and so on. So that senanglah saya nak check. Okay, sebab dia tak label apa-apa, dia hentam je. How many, how much, what is it? Alright, so we label A, B, C. Okay, is that clear? So that's senang saya nak tengok. Saya tidak macam gitu. Okay, alright. So I will see you again.
Individual sir ni?
Mana?
Individual
Tak. Ini group ni. Mana ada
group. Homework 2.
Homework sekarang ni tak ada individual. Okay, every homework will be group. Group yang macam dulu, the group, same group yang kita buat untuk data tu. Okay, same group as the data homework. Don't find another person. Okay, unless you don't have a group. Okay, if you don't have a group, then you do on your own. Or maybe if you don't have a group, you post in WhatsApp, and then we can rearrange. Maybe another person also don't have a group, then you can do together. Okay.
Send the homework through WhatsApp, sir.
No. Oh yeah. That's a good question. I forgot. I will put in classroom. Okay, I will put tidak mengaban. Saya lupa dah. Classroom. I will put the homework in the classroom. Okay, I put assignment classroom. So you send to classroom. Alright. classroom senang. Nak tengok
Okay, sir.
senang, nak baca senang. Oh yeah, one more thing. You send in PDF. Okay, PDF one file. Jangan PDF satu page, second page, third page, penat lah. Okay, put in one file so that I can see each page together. Do in PDF, submit to what? Okay, okay. What? Classroom. So, kalau by Saturday, okay, kalau by Saturday saya tak letak lagi, please remind me. Maklumlah sekarang ni saya dah berumur, lupa kadang-kadang. So you let me know, okay? Remind me that I should put that assignment on for submission by Saturday. Okay. Saturday open Saturday or Sunday morning lah. Okay, good. Anything? Okay. So I wish you Ramadan Mubarak. You know, the blessing of Ramadan. And hopefully this Ramadan will be different from last year because you know, it's more relaxed. But still, you know, take care, all right? Take care of the SOP. So I hope nobody get COVID. Nobody get COVID now from our class. I think the quarantine is already over for some. So I hope, you know, everyone is fine. So take care. I will see you again next week. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
All right, thank you.